You're listening to WhisperCracks, real voices, quiet truths. Sometimes the worst pain comes from the quietest discovery, not from a fight or betrayal you can see, but from a few words you were never supposed to hear. He thought he knew his life. He'd been married for almost 10 years. They met back in college, best friends first, lovers later. They'd built everything together, a home, a rhythm, the kind of comfort that comes from years of love and routine. There were no secrets, at least that's what he believed. Until one weekend, at a family barbecue, he walked into the kitchen to grab something from the fridge and heard his wife's voice from the next room. He wasn't trying to listen, not at first, but then he heard her say the kind of sentence that freezes your blood. He can never find out about this. The air left his body, and before he could even think, he found himself listening. She was talking to her sister. Her sister was confessing about almost cheating on her boyfriend. And his wife, the woman he trusted more than anyone, tried to comfort her by sharing her own story. She said it happened years ago when they just started dating, that she wasn't sure if their relationship would last, and one night she'd slept with someone from her lab. And then, after realizing how much he loved her, she felt guilty and decided to bury the memory forever. He stood there in silence, listening to the sound of his life shattering, quietly, completely, 15 years together, and in one moment, it all felt fake. For days, he said nothing. She noticed his silence, asked what was wrong. He said it was just stress, but inside, he was drowning. He went to therapy. He told his therapist that he didn't know what hurt more, the act itself, or the fact that she'd hidden it from him all these years. The therapist told him that sometimes the wound is not what was done, but the years you lived without knowing. Eventually, he decided to talk to her. He waited until they were calm. No yelling, no anger, just the truth. He sat her down and said, "I heard what you told your sister. I know what happened. I'm hurt, not just because of what you did, but because you never told me." She froze, and then she cried. She admitted everything, said it was true, but that it happened when they were young and unsure. Said she had friends telling her to have fun, to not settle too soon, and that one night, after too many drinks, she kissed someone else. She swore it was just a stupid, drunken mistake, that she never slept with him, that she regretted it instantly, that she'd spent years terrified he'd find out. She said she was sorry, that she was young, lost, and didn't know what real love was back then, but that she does now, that she's known it ever since. He listened, and for the first time since that day, he believed her, because what he saw in front of him wasn't a liar. It was someone who had punished herself in silence for more than a decade. He told her he forgave her, but that he couldn't celebrate the same anniversary anymore, because it didn't feel like the beginning of their story anymore. So they chose a new one. The day they moved in together, the day they started their real life. She said she finally felt free, like a weight she'd been carrying for 15 years had finally lifted. He still feels the scar, of course, but scars mean healing, not destruction. Their marriage didn't end. It changed. It became more honest. Less perfect, maybe, but more real. Now, sometimes when he looks at her across the table, he doesn't see the woman who made a mistake. He sees the woman who stayed, who loved him through everything, even through her own guilt. And maybe that's what forgiveness really is. Not erasing the past, but deciding that the future matters more. Because in the end, the truth didn't destroy them. It set them free.